teacher who wants to be on Zoom and help a student take a STAR test would set up their computer with the Zoom running. So here's our teacher sitting in front of her computer. In the other room is the student already on the Zoom lesson. So they would be signed into Zoom like they normally do. In here we have the student on the Zoom viewing the teacher. They're talking to each other. The teacher's explaining that in just a few minutes the student is going to close this window and open another window so they can take their STAR test. So the student would not turn off the Zoom. I have my student on mute, but they might want the student to not be on mute so they can hear the student reading the STAR test or whatever, talking to the teacher while the Zoom is running. They might want to turn off their video so the video is not running. The teacher just sees this little icon or image of this student. The student then pushes the home button. Zoom is still running. You can hear me in the echo. And the student would go to ClassLink, find their Renaissance account, and choose whichever STAR test they're going to take. So if I start STAR reading, are we inside of school or outside? They're going to say, are you inside your school? This one is going to say no, they're at home. And this is a student from Mull. I'm not going to actually start the test, but he could push start and the window would start. The screen would start doing his STAR test. Most of the principals, including Dr. Edwards, have asked the families to have a parent sitting next to the child at home. And I think the parent is supposed to also sign a form that says they are not going to help their child with the test. If you notice, I can just push this button twice and now I have both windows open. I can go back to the Zoom if I needed to and talk to the teacher and ask a question. I can push the button twice and then I can click on the Zoom window, not the Zoom window, sorry, the STAR test window, and go back to my STAR test. Both windows are open and running at the same time. One thing I just noticed is that on my computer I have several other windows open, which might be a good idea to have the student close all their windows so there's only two things to jump back and forth between. When the student finishes their STAR test, the scores would go into the teacher and they would be able to use those scores for data and everything else that's needed. That's an example of how you would take a STAR test at home with the teacher on Zoom. When they're finished, of course, they can just close the window and they can go back to their Zoom, turn on their video if they need to, and then, sign out of that Zoom like normal. Hopefully that's helpful.